Hey, we're here with Tom and Ben of Wild Beast. Thanks so much for taking the time.
No, not at all. Not a problem.
Pleasure.
The record's been out since September, right? So it's been a while.
Yeah, September over here.
Yeah, September over here, yeah.
What's the reaction been like? Have you been, like, what's the biggest surprise for the reaction for the new record from you guys?
Well, I think that it's taken an invisible step up. You know what I mean? We made what we thought was a record that was just a logical step from the first, and it seems like people have kind of not just taken to it, like understood what we're on about, you know what I mean? And like the surprises we can, how far your music can travel really without you doing so. Like, I mean, this is our first tour of the Americas, and like people have heard it, and people are actually responding and understand what we're doing. And it's amazing.
It's pretty weird for us that we can come over to the States and Canada and sell out shows, and it's kind of pretty humbling. Like we struggled to sell out some venues in the UK, and then we come over here in like LA, and some shows have just been like, have blown us away.
But the hype was pretty big even in the UK, and you can understand why that's come over to North America, right? And even Pitchfork gave you guys a lot of love in their review of the record. Even back home, is the hype around the record surprising to you guys, or is it something that you kind of expected when you were making the record?
Oh well, you always expect. Well, you always hope for everything and expect nothing.
Right.
So I think that the review. We sort of had whispers of it because we had some, obviously, before it comes out, journalists hear it, and you had messages saying, your album's great, which you don't normally get, you know what I mean? Normally people keep cards very close to their chests, so I mean, the thing is, I mean, we can thank people for it, and it all sounds really mealy-mouthed, you know what I mean? There's no real way to actually say thank you. All we can do is really turn up to places and play shows and show people that we appreciate it. You know, it's in actions rather than words, you know what I mean?
Just saw the video for We Still Got the Taste Dancing on Our Tongues.
Yeah.
And what's with the horse?
Oh, the horse, it's like you go to sleep. It's like, you know, you're standing there still, and there's these images of like freedom and escape.
And a horse's freedom and escape.
Yeah, and power, and you know, and you've seen the horse from in the hindquarters. You know what I mean? It's a kind of a there's a kind of sexual element to the song, and an element of kind of wild things being let loose.
Let's talk a bit about the lyrics and also about the song titles. Is that something that you consciously are aware of when you're... I mean, some of the song titles are so grandiose and big, but yet very simple at the same time. And your lyrics are similar in that respect as well. Who writes the music? Ben, do you write it? Or Tom?
No, I mean, musically, we all write. Yeah, but I mean, for the words, it's whatever song Tom sings on, he kind of writes the words. Whatever song Hayden sings on, he writes the words. So that's usually how it works.
Yeah, and that's kind of accidental in a lot of ways. It's because we wrote the album very quickly, so it was very much like if you have something, bring it and we'll work with it, you know. So and with terms of grandiosity, I think what we're trying to do is give people. It's trying to tell stories without giving the relentless boredom of telling a story. I went here and did this, and this happened, and I felt like this. You know, it's like glimpses of things and little phrases which can mean a few things. You know what I mean? And you know, giving people a bit of room for interpretation and a little bit of not mystery exactly, but certainly not something that isn't cut and dry.
Hooting and howling, though, is pretty cut and dry, right? It's partying all night and then getting up in the morning and getting ready to go about your day, and just the monotony of being a grown-up almost. It is, yeah.
But I mean, it sounds like a party song, but it's quite sad. And it's quite slow-mo as well. You know what I mean? It's quite open, yet it's also quite down.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way we're working on a lot of the record. It is supposed to be party music, and it's supposed to have a kind of sexual edge to it, but it is quite downbeat and quite like, I don't know, pensive, I suppose, and reflective.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. I mean, you guys are relatively young, but you're gigging and you're playing all over the world now, and that must be it's a job now. It's not just, you know, playing music for the sake of it. So does that come through for you in the stories that you tell too, about how quickly you're growing up and on this journey? Well,
I mean, I suspect that a lot of people in doing whatever they're doing will feel the same. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, I'm 25 and I'm the granddaddy of the band, so it's like. But in that time, this time of your life, a hell of a lot of things happen. You know, we've stopped being kids now. You know what I mean? It's not, and whether we enjoy it or not, it's not fun and it's not a laugh. You know what I mean? We actually have intentions. You know what I mean? And we want to kind of produce something that will actually be representative of what we're doing. You know.
Empty Nest is so sad.
Thanks. Thanks. I don't know. Thanks.
It's my favorite cut on the record.
Oh, cool.
And it's so sad. Intentional?
Well, it's supposed. I mean, there's it is quite sad and quite long. But I mean, the end of the last line of the record is supposed to be, you know, I welcome your call. These walls don't fall. It's like, you know, whatever happened, whatever you've done, you know, it's you don't, you know, there's some blood is thicker than water. You know what I mean? There's never there's always. I hope the record is. I mean, it's sad. It deals with sad stuff. There's nothing worse than this kind of like, oh, everything's okay, nothing's bothering me, because, you know, it's going to hit like the atom bomb.
Right.
You have to. It's dealing with serious stuff, but, you know, things are going to be okay. If you know, there will always be a way through it.
5 records that you can't be without. You're away from home right now. You're on your first tour in North America. What are 5 records that you couldn't leave home without?
Spirit of Eden, Talk Talk. Just got into Bear in Heaven, which I've been listening to a lot. Like, our tour manager got me into them. That's cool. That's a good record.
Grouper, Going Dead Deal, that's an awesome record.
Yeah.
And Joanna Newsom's got a new one coming out, but that's not out yet, so I can't talk about that one. Trap Mask Replica, although it's a record I already spin, it's important to have that just in case you need a short, sharp shock.
Yeah.
One more?
What have I listened to?
Should we just say The Queen is Dead?
Yeah, you can do without that.
Yeah. Anything catching your ear while you're touring around? Like any new artists that, you know, from people that have either opened for you or that you've heard about that you guys want to give props to?
We're touring with a Toronto band called Still Life Still, who are very cool, and they have they're doing stuff like dropping all sorts of new songs in and that sort of thing. They've got a lot more in their locker. It's quite surprising to see them kind of blossom. You know what I mean? It's cool.
What are you most excited about coming to North America?
I don't know. It's just amazing that we can come to somewhere and like for people to come and see us and kind of come to a city and, you know, it's somewhere you really wanted to go and people want to come and see you. It's kind of a weird sensation.
Well, every city seemed like quite a big deal to us. I mean, LA was a big deal. Chicago was a big deal. Toronto is going to be a big deal. You know what I mean? New York is a big deal. So it's important that we can kind of get in front of people. You know, and that's the main thing. We're not expecting anything to. You know, anything to kind of, you know, any amazing tourist attraction to jump out at us. We just want to kind of play our shows and meet people, you know.
It's difficult to see a city as well when you're on tour. You know, you're in a bubble and it's kind of, you know, you've got to worry about the show. Right. Not the attractions.
After the tour, you're going back home to tour a little bit more back in the UK, and then are you going to start working on a new record?
Well, we're touring Ireland and Europe as well. We're not going home till late April. And then, so I don't know when this is showing, but this is February. This is like late February now. And then, well, let's see. Then we've got festivals and stuff coming up in May and June. So, I mean, we're going to start probably a new record, this year, as soon as possible this year. We have loads of ideas, but ideas are cheap. You know what I mean? It's all about organising, and songwriting is just a series of decisions. So we have to kind of get to your desk, and we have to be allowed to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Any writing goes on the road, or just ideas? Like you guys carry around notepads or anything?
Yeah, all the time. But only ideas. You know, like little flickers in the darkness. You know, we'll get there.
Well, congratulations on the second record and coming to North America.
Thanks.
And we'll see you real soon.
Cool.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.